PlayStation Plus free games for June 2024 revealed. Drop an elbow, take on Mr. X, and do the Cosmic Shake with June's PlayStation Plus games. Sony has revealed the next batch of free games for PlayStation Plus subscribers and for anyone who likes nostalgia action pro wrestling or a sponge who lives in a pineapple under the sea. June looks like a fun month. SpongeBob SquarePants, The Cosmic Shake, AEW Fight Forever, and Streets of Rage 4 will be added to the subscription service starting June 4th. For premium and extra subscribers, there's a whole of new classic and VR titles being added to the PlayStation Plus game catalog in June as well. SpongeBob SquarePants, The Cosmic Shake is a pretty great game starring the lovable Fly Cook. The spiritual successor to 2003's Battle for Bikini Bottom, The Cosmic Shake is a lot of fun. And no, we're not talking about fire, uranium bombs, and no survivors. A combination of classic SpongeBob humor, rock-solid platforming, and colorful visuals makes for a charming adventure across Bikini Bottom. Next on the list is AEW Fight Forever. Last year's wrestling game based on the WWE rival promotion, the first AEW channels the spirit of classic titles like WWF No Mercy and has a great roster of performers to choose from, as well as an approachable fighting system to learn. It's good and wonderfully weird stuff to check out in case you're looking for alternative to 2K's WWE series of games. Finally, Streets of Rage 4 is a brilliant throwback to yesteryear. It has the DNA of the classic Sega series, enhances it with beautiful hand-drawn visuals, and throws in new modes that will push your fighting skills to the limits. The game got even better last year thanks to a major update, as hundreds of improvements across the board polished Streets of Rage 4 into one of the best modern beat-em-ups. There's still time to grab this month's free PlayStation Plus games, as Destiny 2, Lightfall, Ghost Runner 2, Tunic will be available until June 3rd, and EA Sports FC 24 will hang around until June 17th. As part of the Days of Play celebration, Sony is also adding bonus titles to its PlayStation games catalog a few days early, and subscribers can check out several PSVR 2 and classic titles like Tomb Raider Legend and Ghostbusters Rise of the Ghost Lord in June. So let's look at the comments. So let's see. Upvotes. Chupert goes, I'm glad I canceled it. It was set to renew on the 31st this month. I'd rather pay 12 months of Game Pass on my PC instead. It's like they reached an agreement. One sucks at exclusives and the other at the subscription. Abadu Ahmed goes, bad month. And Barnoid81 goes, Streets of Rage 4 is interesting if Yuzo Koshiro worked on its soundtrack. Okay, I'm going to have a lot to say about what I've heard about AEW Fight Forever. Unfortunately, it's not good.
I
but,
see.
But do any of these games interest you, or have you heard about any of these games?
SpongeBob Bikini Bottom, or the SpongeBob game itself, that I want to play myself one day, if it's on the Xbox. I know that the Bikini Bottom remake is also on the Xbox store as well. Might as well try it out one day. So I used to be not a big SpongeBob follower, but when I was younger, I tried to watch as much as I can. But as I got older, but there was a turn point in my life where I had to stop watching constantly the SpongeBob episodes. So, I can watch it anytime on Nick at Night or even on the Pirate Bay, not Pirate Bay, the Pirates of the Seven Seas and all. But right now it's kind of like getting too old for that stuff right now. So, but I mean, of course, yeah, why not watch SpongeBob once in a blue moon, right? But
yeah. I mean, I never was really a fan of SpongeBob, but I mean, if it's, if it's a guilty pleasure of yours, what's wrong with doing it,
Yeah, at first, like SpongeBob when I was a kid, but as I gotten older, in recent time, I like Plankton the most because he's more diabolical and negative thinking about, uranium bombs, it's like, that's how I feel sometimes, the death, destruction, terror in the streets and all that stuff. And in the world, Plankton was all in one package, with his small body but big mind,
Kind of like Pinky in the Brain.
Yeah, it's time to take over the world today, At day 5,000,
Yeah. Okay, so anyway, SpongeBob SquarePants, the Cosmic Shake. Um, you know what? I would play it. I would at least try it out, like I tried. I think Battle for Bikini Bottom. Um, that's that. And there was a third game because I want to save AEW Fight Forever. Streets of Rage 4. Um,
Oh yeah, I heard good things about that game. That's good. Streets of Rage. I hear.
yeah, I do have the Sega Genesis, and Doctor Games 101 might have the same thing. The Sega Genesis Virtual Classic that had the three Streets of Rage in a trilogy. Um,
Yep.
that was so that's yeah. So I mean, we got that. That's still fun to play if you're just looking for a beat 'em up. Um, so uh, yeah, if you're a big fan of the so Streets of Rage 4, I've never played it. I'd be interested in trying it. And then AEW Fight Forever. Ugh, where
Hmm.
do I begin? Um, I'm sorry, AEW Fight Forever is a failure. Um,
It looked very like a promising game though, from all the coverage.
it did, and like graphics wise, but it's just that when the game came out, there were not enough characters. There were wrestlers that were there for years, and it's like, where are they? I mean,
Hmm.
so there's that. Uh, and then they had like WWF No Mercy had more match modes than AEW Fight Forever did at launch.
Hmm.
Um, in WWF No Mercy, you had special guest referee, you had an Iron Man match, you had ladder match, um, and then you had the normal matches, and then you had hardcore, and you could go backstage. Well, yeah, No Mercy, you could go backstage.
Or
Um,
knockout matches too. If
yeah,
you
not
want
or you
to,
could alter the rules and create your own matches. Pick an Iron Man match, but turn pinfalls off, countouts off, and disqualifications off. You got an ultimate submission match right there. Um,
hmm
they had Royal Rumble, and I think did they have Team Royal Rumble, or was that already taken out? I think
There's regular Royal Rumble and hardcore Royal Rumble.
okay, so they didn't have Team Royal Rumble then.
I don't think so. No, it was not that. It was not that sophisticated back then.
Well, no. I do remember. I don't think it was WrestleMania 2000. It might have been WWF. Yeah, because I never reviewed WrestleMania 2000. Like you could make like a 16-man Royal Rumble, but put four guys on each team, and it was basically like a stable match from WWF Attitude.
I
Um,
see what you mean. Okay.
so like I said, you could alter the rules and make up matches that weren't in the game, but they were possible because you were allowed to alter the rules, like the Ultimate Submission example.
It was that
Um,
creative of its time back then.
But the thing is, back to AEW Fight Forever, they had very few matches. It seems like they were banking everything on the exploding barbed wire death match. Um, but and then the story mode was repetitive. Just if you went through the story mode once, which was a year in game time, you would see everything that happened during in A1 story mode. It's just the characters would be different. But
Oh
like
wow.
you, but like your first story, a partner turns on you, and then you team up with like someone I forget who it was, but like you would team up with this guy. And like he started out as an enemy, and then you teamed up to take care of common enemies, and then you win the tag team titles. And then this guy goes, "Yeah, remember when your bags disappeared like 4 weeks ago? I was behind that." And he's like, "But I bet we've bonded enough, and we're champions now, so you'll let that go." And then you don't even get a choice; you just end up blindsiding your co-tag team champion and lose the tag team titles basically by forfeit, saying, "I'm not teaming with this guy anymore." Um, it's like so they really didn't give you any choices, so you were going to follow the same path anyway. It's just the different wrestlers that would be involved would change up based on who you picked.
Mm.
So it's kind of like once you played it once, there was no reason to go through it again.
It was
Um,
like playing SmackDown versus Raw in 2006, but creative characters every single time, kind of emotion notion.
kind of,
You know what I'm saying?
kind of, because like in SmackDown vs. Raw 2006, I do have to say at least they had like at least when it went from like the Royal Rumble to WrestleMania, that's when the stories got different.
Oh yeah.
Like who ran over Teddy Long? Well, basically depended on who you picked. If you picked Rob Van Dam, uh, then I think Rob Van Dam did he do it? Yeah, if you picked Rob Van Dam, then he did it. If you picked JBL, then Chris Jericho did it. If so it was kind of like you wanted to pick different wrestlers on the roster to see how the story would be different. Because if you pick JBL, ECW was trying to make a comeback with a little mini ECW invasion. Um, if you pick Rob Van Dam, Theodore Long said he was going to make Rob Van Dam's life a living hell on SmackDown unless he jumped to Raw. Um, but Triple H and Jericho didn't want RVD to jump to Raw, so they tried to get Vince McMahon to say RVD must have his title shot on SmackDown. And Vince McMahon goes, "Look, my hands are tied. If according to the wording of the Royal Rumble contract, if RVD wants to come and fight for Raw's world title with you two, he's got every right to." So Triple H and Jericho devise a plan where, hey, we're gonna make RVD's life as easy as possible on SmackDown, so he wants to stay on SmackDown. So I mean, there was different scenarios once you got past the Royal Rumble.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so that was different, but like AEW Fight Forever, it didn't matter who you picked. You ran into basically the same situations, and then there was the Stadium Stampede they finally released, but there's like not even enough people to get a 30-man match going, so you have to play it with bots because most people uh, stopped playing by this point. And
Right.
then the DLC. I don't know what the hell I don't know what the hell THQ and Nordic and Ukes are smoking, but wow, I've never seen DLC as expensive as they charge. They'll charge for like a season pass of theirs will be like 3 wrestlers, uh, and maybe a few tweaks to the gameplay for like $25.
Damn.
Yeah, you can get 5 wrestlers in WWE 2K24 for $10. So it's like, why would you pay $25? Um, and maybe you'll get like 3 wrestlers and like a new arena. And if you want to buy the wrestlers individually, that doesn't get any better. Like when they released Tony Storm, who's in AEW, she was in NXT. I don't think she ever made it. I don't think if she was on the main roster, she was there for like a cup of coffee. Then she went to AEW. Um, if you want to buy Tony Storm like separately, like try to buy the DLC in pieces instead of for the season pass, one Tony Storm could be like $12
Wow.
for one wrestler.
I said,
$12 one wrestler is more than what WWE would charge in 2K24 for like 5 wrestlers and like multiple and like maybe an extra arena or two. Um, And then, if that wasn't bad enough, every time they release like a new season pass, they release a more expensive version of the game with that season pass already included. So but yeah, AEW Fight Forever. It's not WWF No Mercy with AEW wrestlers. It's basically I mean it looks great and everything, and I bet it plays great too. But they just released it with very few match types and a small roster. And I think for example, I think the newest Battle Pass has Samoa Joe, Edge, and Swerve Strickland, who used to be Killshot in Lucha Underground. Um, but he doesn't wear a mask anymore. Um, that's like the newest Battle Pass. And it's like Samoa Joe's been there for like a couple of years already. Why is he now DLC?
wow.
Yeah, so I mean they released like a Battle for the Elite, which is basically 10 matches, um, but I don't think damage carries over, and like they did nothing with it. Like that was just in one of the season passes, and it's so like AEW Fight Forever. It's basically an insult to WWF No Mercy. It's not even better than WrestleMania 2000. I hate to say it.
Hmm. Wow.
Um, Honestly, I would pick the WWE games over AEW Fight Forever, to be honest.
Okay.
So
Better play going back like 25 years ago for No Mercy at best, you know.
yeah, if you can find an affordable copy.
I got 2 copies of No Mercy, so I'm good.
Yeah, maybe you'll sell me one.
Yeah, why not? That sounds like $1 billion, right? I'm sorry, man. I'm just like not $1 billion. Something like maybe 1 million, maybe 50,000, baby, maybe 1,000.
Do you take IOUs?
Yeah, if Arnold Schwarzenegger is still in charge of California, maybe with his IOUs, you know.
Okay. Well, anyway, yeah. So like AEW Fight Forever is just it was everyone was expecting it to be the next WWF No Mercy, and it's basically like the next. And basically, it's not. It doesn't even live up to WrestleMania 2000. So it's like, yeah, so basically, it's a disappointment. Um,
Okay. Thanks for the heads up, though. Appreciate that.
yeah, no doubt.